Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission, a podcast talking all things mental health and wellness in the Burgh. Brought to you by...
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.
Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission Podcast. My name is Angela Rivers, and today I am here with Dana Guenther, the program coordinator for Isaiah House in Lynchburg, Virginia. Welcome, Dana.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me from afar.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. And I'm so excited to hear more about what Isaiah House is. I did a lot of research, and you do some great work.
Oh, thank you. It was not too long ago I heard about it myself, so it's new to all of us. But I'm really excited to bring the Isaiah 117 House to Virginia.
Yeah, definitely. And let's begin today's podcast by telling our listeners what the Isaiah House is. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so right now it typically works when CPS, Child Protective Services, gets a call to go remove the children or child from the situation that they're in. They're brought back to the Department of Social Services, which is typically just an office. I don't know if you've ever been to a DSS office, but they're pretty much just walls and desks. So when a removal is happening, children are brought back to this office to wait for their foster placement. So DSS, Department of Social Services, that I'll shorten it from here on out, it's called DSS. They typically start calling foster parents and work on, placing the child. And so sometimes this can take a long time, sometimes a couple days, typically just long hours. And so what the Isaiah 117 House wants to step in and do is build a home and furnish it and fill the kitchen with food and clothes. So on this day of removal, the CPS worker can bring these kids to this house to wait for their foster placement rather than sitting in a DSS office all day.
Yeah. And how did you said you just recently learned about the Isaiah House. How did you get behind the mission?
Yes. So we're working on this house, with my friend Mary Perlman, and she is always sending me videos to watch. And oftentimes they're long or silly, and I just kind of put them off. Like, yeah, okay, Mary, I'll watch it someday. And she kept bugging me to watch this one video. And so I finally got to watching it. It was like 20 minutes long, but it was a story. So I don't know if you know who Mike Rowe is. He's behind the Dirty Jobs on TV, that show, if you've ever seen it. But anyways, he did a little video. He focused on this woman, Rhonda Paulson, who started the first Isaiah 117 House in Tennessee. So he did a little video on her in this house, and it went viral. This was about, I think it was like right before the world shut down in that March of 2020, I think. So anyways, this video went viral. Mary sent it to me. I watched it, and I could not get it out of my head. I was like, this is so perfect. There's this huge problem, and this seems like such an easy solution. So Mary, we have to do this. So it wasn't too much longer that we inquired about opening one here. We drove down to Tennessee. We toured some of the open homes. So there's, I think, 4 or 5 in Tennessee open already. And we inquired about opening one here.
And how did that go? I mean, has there been a hard process to open one? It's not quite open yet, correct?
Correct. We are in the raising funds phase. So we've been in a raising and awareness phase. And now we've entered the just trying to raise some funds to build our home. So we're about a year in, and we've raised $160,000, which is so exciting. And we hope to break ground here in the next few months and hope have the house up as soon as possible. So we're excited.
Yeah. And how are you going to push the awareness out after it's built?
Well, right now we're focusing on speaking engagements, which really helps a lot. So right now we're just asking people if we can come speak in your church, or if we could come speak at your kids' soccer practice on Tuesday night, or come to your work. I mean, we're just trying to get the word out, and it's really gotten us pretty far. I mean, I've seen bumper stickers, and people are wearing these, we sell these shirts to help raise awareness, and I'm seeing them all over the place. And someone in Sam's Club said, "Hey, I like your shirt. I have that shirt." I said, "Oh, yay." So it's really helping. We're really getting the word out there, and that's been our main focus right now. So it's been good. So now that we're in this funding phase, so we just entered this funding phase, I guess. And prior to that is when we've raised, it was probably like close to 100,000 that we raised before even asking for money. So people hear this problem and they want to help. It's a problem that not a lot of people even know exists. So it's neat to kind of bring it, to people's attention, like kids entering homes with their garbage bag of items. So anyways, I could go on for a long time. I'll let you ask your questions, but I'm passionate about it, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. And what makes you so passionate about it? You're a foster mom yourself, correct?
Correct. Yes. My husband and I started fostering in 2017. We got our first call about 3 months after being certified, and it was a call for a brand new baby in the NICU. And so we spent 2 weeks in the NICU with her, came back to our house with nothing. I mean, not even a pacifier. So that was interesting. And we've since fostered. We have our 14th foster placement right now. So we've had ages 0 to 15. This stuck out to me really because one of our placements that we got a call. So I was driving and I got a call for these 2 little girls. One was like 1.5, and then there was a baby. And they said they've been here all day. They've got siblings. We were able to place their brothers, but we need someone to take these 2 little girls. So of course, tears running down my face. Okay, I'm on my way. And when I got there, the little baby was just wrapped in a blanket, and the toddler had on just a little diaper. The caseworker, there's 2 caseworkers in there. One is trying to rock the baby to sleep, and the other one was trying to make calls and get all the paperwork. And it hit me like, this is how it works. I mean, really, these kids have been here all day, and if I hadn't said yes, who knows much longer they would have been there. And so that day always stuck out to me. And then when I heard about this house being able to fix that problem and lessen that trauma specifically, I mean, it was huge. I hope every county eventually has one of these homes.
Yeah. And it's getting harder and harder now, especially, during the pandemic. Kids are having to stay in hotels with caseworkers.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. It's crazy how bad it is. And especially now that, schools are slowly opening back up and doctor's office and things like that, the amount of placements, because it did get kind of quiet during COVID because there wasn't as many people reporting it. So now the number of calls that we've been getting, it's been a lot. It's been crazy.
Do you have a big vision for, once it opens there in Lynchburg to expand into other areas of Virginia?
Yes. So how it's been working. So the original home is only about 3.5 years old. And so they opened the first one, and it was, I mean, you blinked and it was like every county in Tennessee wanted one of these homes. And they said there was one instance where a social worker had heard about the Isaiah home. They were 3 hours away from it, but they were stuck, and they were in this position that they drove 3 hours with these kids to wait overnight in this house because there's no solution. There's no answer where they were. And so people will drive for this house, and we want people to use this house. It's not just for Lynchburg DSS. It can be for private agencies. Bedford County can use it. I mean, you name it. If the house is available, we want people to use it. So it's not just for Lynchburg. And that's kind of how it's expanded in Tennessee, is people say, "Oh, I want one where we are." And so hopefully, we're the first in Virginia, but hopefully not the last.
Yeah, definitely. And then how does it get staffed? Are you going to have a staff that's there with the children, or how does that all work out?
So I will be coming on as the program coordinator. I'm currently the expansion coordinator. And so I will be the one running the home. And how it will work is we will have 40 to 50 volunteers go through just a brief training, get the background check. and things like that. And then they can sign up for a day that they want to be on call. So I think it works kind of like how a nurse's schedule works at a hospital. So you can sign up for, Friday, a 12-hour shift or 24-hour shift. And if a removal happens on that day, I would be the one to say, hey, CPS is on their way with 2 kids. And then I call my people who are on call for that day. And then we all meet them at the house, and the kids can hopefully get a bath, get the lice out of their hair, get their Band-Aids on their boo-boos, and get some clean clothes. We'll have a whole storage unit filled with brand new clothes, brand new shoes. They can pick out a toy, they can fill a duffel bag, they can get their shower, can get a meal, and then they can go to foster home with, a little more sense of dignity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then how are you going to continue to be funded? Are you going to keep raising awareness and get donations, or do you have a bigger picture in that?
So right now we'll host annual fundraisers. So we just actually hosted our first fundraiser. It was a luncheon, and we got the word out. We asked people to be table hosts and to just fill their table with people who they thought would want to, know about what we're doing. And so we had our first fundraiser. It was in September, and we'll do something annually. So if it's not a luncheon, I think next year we're going to plan a big golf tournament. So I think that'll be fun. And, along the way, have things like auctions. And one fun thing that we did, and we'll do every year, it's a big, all the Isaiah 117 houses do it, they're lemonade stands. And they happen every summer in July. We hosted National Isaiah 117 House Lemonade Day. And we just asked anybody who wanted to do a lemonade stand and to donate, proceeds to us. And we raised, it was over $6,000. It was crazy. I think it was $6,500 in lemonade. So that's a neat way to get, kids involved, because this is for kids. And it was really cool. I remember one lemonade stand I stopped at. I tried to go to all of them, just, say thank you. And one little stand had, I think she was maybe 9 or 10, and she had this little t-shirt on. She had bought one for herself, and she started telling me she didn't know that, like, who I was or that I was involved with this. So she just, acted like I was a stranger. And she said, have you heard of what the Isaiah 117 House is? And I said, yes, I have heard of it. And she said, well, I was in foster care, and I had to wait at the office for a long time. And I almost started crying. I was like, wow, this is what it's all about. Kids serving kids. This is amazing. So I love the lemonade stands, and I love seeing kids serve kids. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to make such a difference, especially for the families too, for the foster families, as you get the kids into the Isaiah house, clothe them, maybe give them a toothbrush, a duffel bag of toys or something to go to that home with. It also, allows the family not to feel so rushed and burdened in the beginning, where they're trying to make sure everything's perfect for this child. They're already coming with some of those things. So it helps support the family as well.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just in April, it made me think of this. We got the call. It was like 9:00 at night, and hey, we've got 3 kids, older, like between 8 and 13 or something, 14. And I can't find anybody to say yes. And we're about to sleep in DSS. I need some help. Can you help me? Yes, of course. Bring the kids to my house. So they went to remove them. And then it wasn't that they didn't get to our house till close to 1 a.m. And they had nothing in their hands, not a single thing. They had stopped at McDonald's and had a soda in their hands. And I think we were in the process. This was just recently. And so we were in the process of the Isaiah house. And I thought, man, this is going to be huge. They could have, so we acted as a respite situation in that case because we couldn't keep 3 kids at the time. But of course, in the emergency situation, I don't want them to sleep, of course you can sleep here. So we weren't able to keep them long term. But if they had gone if we had the Isaiah house, they could have gone and slept there for the weekend, gotten everything they need. And it would have acted as that transition to help the caseworkers have that little extra time to find the proper placement, so they wouldn't be bouncing from house to house thinking, oh, I get to stay here. Oh, now I'm being moved again. They don't want me. Or so, it would absolutely help the foster parent as much as the children. So for sure.
Yeah, and you make a good point too, finding that perfect placement or the appropriate placement for the child, allowing them not to be removed several times or over again, allowing them not to have that extra trauma. That's a big deal.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So in the past few years of having Isaiah 117 now, so they've learned that it would really be helpful if the house had a wing, almost like a separate wing, almost for visitations to happen. So our goal has been we prefer to build as opposed to buying a house, so that we can add this visitation wing because again, as a foster parent, we've taken kids to visitation to meet their biological parents, and it's maybe at the McDonald's play place, or it's at a museum where it's just not an ideal situation to be able to bond with your kids. When you're trying to get them back, and so we really really want to add this visitation wing. So we want to help reunification. We want to help kinship families. We want to walk alongside and help in any way that we can. So I'm excited to hopefully have that little addition to the house also. I'm dreaming big.
Yeah. And how much more funding do you need before you break ground?
So we can technically break ground. So our first goal was 150,000 to break ground, which we've reached. So we are waiting on the land piece to finalize. And as soon as we get that, we can break ground. And then we've just set a next goal in our heads of 300,000 because that seems to be what it takes to, the cost to build a home. So our hopes and prayer is that items are donated, such as the roof or, landscaping, things like that. So we maybe don't have to raise that much money. But that's just our goal. That's our next goal of 300,000, and I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think you can too, especially if you already have as much as you have now and the way you're promoting it, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, we've had a general contractor already donate his time and an architect. So really, like I said, people hear about this problem and either they didn't know it was a problem or they're excited to fix the problem.
Yeah. Did you always view this as a problem, as a foster parent? Did you, in the back of your mind, think that this was a problem? Sometimes you go so fast as a foster parent with the placement that you don't even think about.
Yeah, I would actually say no. I didn't until it was really brought to my attention that we can fix it. So I always kind of thought like, man, this would stink to have visit here. There's no windows. There's like 2 toys that aren't even age appropriate. I always thought, man, this would be so lousy. I never thought, hey, how about we fix it? Which seems so silly. But then I heard this woman and this idea, and I thought, this is genius. I can't say no.
Yeah. And are you still going to be able to have foster placements while you're doing this venture?
Well, we were going to take a break, but then you get the call and it's really hard to say no. So we actually just took another placement about 2 months ago. So, but now I said no more. I've got to get this house open.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 right now.
You do?
We do. We have one that we've adopted and then this placement. So we've got 2 kids and it's fine. It's doable.
Yeah. And with the holidays around the corner, are you promoting anything out to the community that they can donate or give back, or just funding? Is that what you're looking for right now?
So right now we have filled a storage room. We've completely filled a storage unit with clothes and shoes and toothbrushes and socks and underwear. So we have a gift card drive that's being held, and that's happening the first 12 days of December. We are collecting gift cards, but we're always collecting monetary donations, and people can donate at any point. So that's really what we're focusing on now. We really just want to get the house open. As much as we are helping removals now, we can help serve them better once the house is open. So that's our main focus right now.
Yeah. And where can somebody donate a gift card to? How can that be done?
Well, we are collecting them actually locally. A little store downtown, they can be dropped off at Mama Crockett's. It's in Lynchburg. They can also be mailed there. So it's called Mama Crockett's in Lynchburg. It's a sweet little donut shop. And that's where they can be dropped off to. And but anything can always be mailed to the Resource Center in Tennessee, which is on the website, the Isaiah117house.com website.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And now when this is actually up and running, you said you serve a multitude of not just, DSS, but private agencies as well. Will you have a cap of how many kids you can serve?
So typically, in the homes that are open, they don't overlap very often. So there's maybe a removal a day. So the city of Lynchburg, I believe it's about 300 kids in care. So I'm not sure. The house isn't open yet, but the ones that are open, they don't typically overlap. And if they do, that's up to the caseworker's discretion. Like, hey, I've got a teenage girl. Okay, well, it's okay. I'm just bringing two young little ones. I don't think they'll be there very long, or whatever their situation is. That's more up to them to kind of use their judgment. But also, the home will hopefully also be big enough to house a couple kids at a time, and they won't typically stay overnight either. While the beds are there and that's the option, it's not ideal for caseworkers to spend the night because they're never left alone to the volunteers. The caseworkers will always have to be there until they find the placement, and it's not ideal for a caseworker to spend the night. So they do try to place them in the same day. So we leave that up to their discretion.
Are you going to have different areas for kids with a lot of behaviors? If they're really angry or upset or of that case, will they be in a different area or will everybody be kind of joined together?
Well, it's set up just as a normal house would be. So we will try to have at least one volunteer per child. So if there are 3 kids, we'll have at least 4 volunteers to help. There'll be an outside playground that will be fenced in, like a backyard fenced in, and the house will be securely locked to windows, et cetera, like that. And we also want to have a sensory room, for young kids that may just struggle and just need to play games or, touch a puzzle or whatever it is. So we hope to serve all situations and all types of kids.
And how did you, when you first started this, what was the first step? If somebody's listening and wants to build one as well, what's their first step?
Yes, I hope that you do. Please reach out to the Isaiah 117 Resource Center. So that's all I did. I went to the website. I thought I want to open one, and there is a tab right at the top that you want. I don't know exactly what it's called, but on the website, if you go, I think it's like open a home or inquire, and you can just simply email the resource center. Her name is Molly, and just say, how do I get started? And I remember our first step was just creating a video about yourself and why you want to open one, and sending it in. And so then the process will begin from there, and it's a lot of fun.
And you're doing this all as a volunteer? You're not going to get an income from it or anything like that?
So I've been a volunteer up from the start. And then once you become a program coordinator, so when you go from expansion to program coordinator is when it becomes a job. I mean, I say that, it doesn't feel like a job, but that's when you officially become on staff, I guess.
Yeah. And then do you pay yourself or do you not make any money off of it? For anyone just listening that might want to do it too and thinking, I can't leave my job, but I really want to do this passion.
So once you've hit a certain amount, like milestone in your process, it comes out of what you've raised and part of what the resource center in Tennessee. So it was volunteer for a while, and they really encourage you to do it with a team. So while it sounds like I've been doing all this myself, I haven't done any of it myself. Like I said, my friend Mary that sent me the video, I give her way more credit than I ever want to get. She's working right alongside me, and there's a team of us. There's 5 in our core team, and then really the volunteers help just as much. I mean, we've got people that run the lemonade stand, that run the t-shirts and the inventory. So I have all of these helping hands all over, and it's not just me, for sure. And really, I give all the glory to God. He's been paving the way, laying out the red carpet, and so I don't take any credit.
Yeah. And is this related to a church or more just a passion of yours and something you all want to do?
Well, Isaiah 1:17 is a scripture from the Bible. We are not affiliated with one church, but rather the church and, the body of Christ, and just knowing that this was our calling and this is what we feel called to do. So it's one of my favorite things about this organization, seeing all these people come together for the purpose of helping these kids and lessening trauma on the day of removal.
Yeah, it definitely will do that for the whole team, for the child, the foster child, the caseworker, the family, the whole team, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
Yeah. So Dana, I ask this question on every podcast. At UMFS, we value our families, we value our staff, we value our youth as being unwavering champions. How do you define an unwavering champion?
I would say as someone that doesn't give up, and especially in a situation that's tough and that maybe you feel called to do, but it's way out of your comfort zone, I will say that never in my life did I ever see myself on a podcast or speaking in front of hundreds of people in a church explaining this problem and this solution. But the children need us, the foster families need us, they need advocates, and I really feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, even though I get beet red or teary-eyed or embarrassed speaking up on stage. I mean, none of this is me, but these kids, I do it for the kids, and I remember why I'm doing it, and I just hope to be able to lessen trauma for one child, and I think that we've even already been able to do that. So,
yeah. Well, I'm excited to see where this grows, and I'm excited to bring you back, in a year and see how far you've come. What you're doing is a great thing, and it's going to really help a lot of people. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Well, Dana, it's been nice having you on. Is there anything you would like to say before we air off?
I will say, if you want to contact me, please email me. My email is Dana, Dana.Guenther, Guenther, at Isaiah117house.com. I can answer any more questions for you if you have them. And if you'd like to donate, you can go to Isaiah117house.com, and there's options for which house you'd like to support, and we're on there. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate you having us on here and helping us get the word out. I mean, this is exactly what it's all about. So we're so grateful for you. Thank you.
Of course. It's been a pleasure. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Of course, if you'd like to learn more about becoming a foster parent, please visit www.umfs.org/foster. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Tune in at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us again next week for our next episode.
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.